Hey guys, so I changed my little banner for YouTube, and you might be thinking like, "Oh my goodness, Erica, this sounds so cliche. Why do you post this kind of stuff up?" Well, here's my thinking behind it. I think I've been reading this comic called Webtoon over here, and there's the main character, and there's these two guys who are after her, and one of the characters, the guy on the right, the guy in the full black, his name is Suho. So I love his character. Oh crap! Hold on, one moment. Hey. Oh, yeah, I made you mussels. Do you want to eat it? I made it. It's really tasty. You want to try it?
No thanks.
No, thanks.
I appreciate it, but
Oh, do you want to try clams instead?
no, it's weird.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, wait, why? Do you want to taste the sauce at least? It's really tasty. No? Okay. Okay, well, anyway, yeah, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to ask you if you wanted to try it, because it's really tasty, so I thought you might want to try it. Okay, okay. Well, anyway, I'm doing a stream right now. I'll talk to you later, okay? No, no, no. Do you think you'll be home soon? Huh? Oh, he hung up on me. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I asked him if he was gonna be home soon, and there was no reply. Okay, so, while I'm doing this stream, let me look back on my YouTube chat, cause that thing closed. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So yeah, I've been. Oh, hold on. I gotta mute myself because I don't want to hear myself double. One moment. Oh wow, I'm getting a skincare commercial for myself. Cool. Okay, so yeah, the character Suho, he is such a great guy. He takes care of himself. He always looks good. And yes, I know he is just a cartoon character. But I thought to myself, I thought, man, I would, if I ever had a son, I would love for my son to be like Suho. And then it got me thinking to myself, well, Erica, if you have a son, how can you expect him to be like Suho if he's not raised around that kind of environment? You get what I'm saying? So like, if you want to have a son like Suho who takes care of himself, who always seems to look good, and I know he's a cartoon character, but he always seems to like care about how he looks, and he cares about how he carries himself, and he never looks bummy in this webcomic, then you really need to lead by example. And that was one of the forces that kind of led me thinking like, oh, Erica, you really should take care of yourself more, because it's not just about you. It's something bigger than you. And I feel that, and I've touched on this before, but I kind of feel like if any person becomes a parent, that is a huge responsibility, and it's really like a blessed opportunity as well, because not everybody can have kids. I don't even know if I could have kids, but I just wanted to, put it out there. Like, that's why I'm so focused on this kind of stuff. So so the whole Suho thing, you cannot. People look at like a character like Suho, or they'll look at the other guy. His name is oh my goodness, what is his name? Oh, I just read it. I forgot his freaking name. What is his name? Seojun. The other guy, yeah. Like, both of them, people are usually either Team Seojun or Team Suho. I'm on Team Suho, obviously. But when people read these kind of comics, I feel like a lot of the times they just kind of root for one character, whether it be the guy or the girl, right, of like a lead character. But they never kind of think to themselves like, or they might think like, the character is so perfect, but they never really apply it to themselves. So when people idealize these characters, it's usually because of qualities that they themselves do not have. You see? So like, for instance, right? Let's say if you like, if you really admire, let's say, I don't know, you really admire like Dragon Ball Z because the characters are super strong and you yourself is not super strong, right? Then you could be like, oh man, yeah. Every time I watch Dragon Ball Z, it's like you feel so hyped up looking at let's say reading about what's going on or hearing them about them working on their strength or going through like the gravity chamber or something like that. But if after you read about that kind of stuff, like you look at your own life and you're like, dang, I'm not toned, I don't have any muscle. So there's like a huge disconnect. So when I think about anime, I think a lot of the times people just use it as escapism. And I also read about people who are like called hikimori or something like that. Those people are hermits, and a good chunk of them, from what I hear, is like they have like these huge stashes of like anime collections, and I think that's one of their ways to kind of like not have to focus on themselves and they can focus on other things. So what I'm trying to say is this: instead of, let's say, looking at a comic or idealizing a character, or either the female character or the male character, figure out what you like about those characters and apply it to yourself, because that way it doesn't become just you fawning or you like saying like, oh man, this character is so perfect. Like you yourself are working on bettering yourself, so you feel like it's motivating. You get what I'm saying? Like when you look at things, you might see like the character is, let's say, working on her makeup, which is what the character in this comic does. So this character, Ju Young, if you read the comic, and I highly, highly recommend reading the comic, this has really changed my life for the better reading this comic. She's a nerd. She's like a cartoon nerd, a comic book nerd, and she doesn't look that great. And then she starts applying makeup, she starts taking care of herself, and all of a sudden she becomes a hottie. And when she becomes, before she becomes a hottie, she meets Suho, and he knows her before and after, so he knows how she looks like without makeup and with makeup as well. And he finds her non-makeup look cute, and he is like so good looking, right? It's like she can't believe that a guy of his caliber of looks is interested in her. And anyway, so she ends up dating this guy Seojun. I know I'm leaking part of it, but there's other stuff that happens. I mean, like, look, it's at 130, episode 138. I think I read up to 140 something, 145 or something, but I can't recall. But anyway, so point being is that when I was reading this comic, I thought to myself, like, wow, this character is working on herself, and she changes her life because she looks better. And you guys know I've been reading this comic for at least a couple months now, and this comic actually encouraged me to change my life for the better. And I can be very, very honest about this. A lot of people, they might not find the same benefit for this comic. They might just be a reader instead. But whenever I read this comic, I kind of think to myself, like, man, I wanna like achieve like a look where it's like I work on myself, and then I look in the mirror, and then I know I look good, and I feel good, and I feel confident. And I feel like a person like that who works on themselves, maybe one day, right? If they have a child, then the child sees how they are and they absorb it as a sponge. But it's not all about looks. It's also about character as well. But I think outside can obviously be changed easily. If you're unhappy with yourself, you can go to the gym, you can go on a diet, you can get a haircut, you can get a stylist, you can get a trainer. But even if you have a good character, I think that if people do not take care of themselves, that's when insecurity sneaks in. That's when anxiety kicks in. And but as long as they know that they're moving forward about something, then they could say, well, maybe I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm at a better place. And I feel it's very, very important, because sometimes, like, people, I think there's too many people out there who just give up on themselves, especially when they hit maybe like late 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, right? And you just think, like, oh, it's so late. Yeah, I don't want to spend all this energy on myself because I'm too old. But what I've realized is, like, looking at other YouTubers, looking at women who are like 68 years old, 50 years old, they have so much youthfulness and joy in their life. And I've named a few people on my community channels as that they really make me look forward to growing old as well. So I don't fear aging. The whole reason why I'm all about the whole skincare thing and the whole fashion thing is I want to live a very fulfilling life. And I don't want to look back at my life and think, man, Erica, in your 20s, you had so much anxiety and depression in your life. And then your 30s, it carried over. And then in your 40s, it carried over. I rather nip it at the bud right now and become like the person that I've always kind of admired. But yeah, it's reachable within me. So like I want to become my own dream girl. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm following ideas of what other people think, because I know some people might speculate, oh well, Erica, you're just trying to figure out, you're just trying to look more attractive for Lewis or something like that. But that's not the case. I think like Lewis's taste in women, I don't know what his taste in women is, to be honest with you. Besides that, past history, he goes for very curvy women, and I'm obviously not very curvy, so there's no way that I can just follow on that kind of path. It's not like I can just grow chest tissue or anything like that. So for me, it's like I kind of think like, Erica, what kind of aesthetic do you like? Because that's what really matters, right? It's not what he likes. It's really what I like, because it's like, what is going to be more sustainable? It's going to be what I see in my head. So the person that I see myself being is a person who is well put together, a person who watches what they eat, who exercises, who exercises, who just kind of, they when they walk down the street, they look confident, but they're not a cocky individual. Because I've been around people, and I've been around both men and women, that once they start looking better, they become cocky, or they try to use their looks to get what they want. And I don't want to ever become that kind of person, for sure. It saddens me when I see people change after they they look better, because they feel like if they look better, then they can treat a person a certain way because of superior looks. But I don't think that's what looks are meant to do, right? I think the women that I look up to in my life, they're beautiful women who are significantly older than me, but they have such a great heart and they have such a great character that I'm just kind of in awe of them. It's like, wow, they really take care of themselves, and they're really nice, and they're really loving, and they're really supportive. Like, these are dream women. So that's the kind of person that I want to be. It's not following like cookie cutter Instagram thing. It's not having like the biggest ass in the world or anything like that. It's just kind of, it's just being the person that I see in my head. And for you guys, right, I know most of you people watching my channel are males. I implore you, and I hope that you do the same thing for yourself. If you instead of like looking at another person and saying like, man, that person looks so great, man, I wish that I looked that great, take steps to follow in their footsteps. I know sometimes I seem a little neurotic about it, but I look at older women that I find attractive, and I kind of figure out like, okay, what do they do? What is their routine? What do they eat? What do they do for skincare? And I figure like, if I do something similar, right, I'm gonna end up around, like they say, shoot for the stars. And even if you don't hit the moon, you're gonna hit the stars somewhere. You see what I'm saying? Like, you might not hit exactly where you want to go, but you can end up very close to it, or you can become closer to it with persistence, and you at least have a lot more knowledge with that. And I think that when you do become your own dream person, like your own dream girl or your own dream guy, you'll find that not only are you kinder to yourself, not only are you more supportive of yourself, but then you also become kinder to other people too, because then you'll recognize that, hey, there's other people struggling, and they might be on a further back step than you, right? Like, let's say there's a person who has like a lot of depression and anxiety, and they don't know how to take the first step. If you know that, you can kind of encourage them like, hey, you know what? first of all. You gotta step out of your head, as tough as it is, and try and focus on what makes you more confident. If you're insecure because you feel like you're fat or something, take control of your diet. If you feel like your skin isn't that great, then look into your diet. You can go to a dermatologist for that. I went to a dermatologist, and for me, like, a dermatologist didn't help me because my acne is rooted in my diet. I find that out with gluten. So yeah, I hope that for any of you guys watching my channel, like I said, instead of idealizing other people or looking down at yourself, I hope that you take proactive steps to be the best person that you can be. If, like, you had to close your eyes and you envision yourself, you'd be like, oh man, like, I would totally date me, or I would totally go out with me. All right. I think that that's a more confident way of looking at things. And if you're in your PJs, or if you're in bummy clothes and you look in the mirror and be like, would I date myself in this? And the answer is no, then you should probably improve how you look like. And I say that in a very loving way, because, like, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was wearing bummy looking clothes, and Lewis told me I looked bummy too. And I took a step back and I was like, man, yeah, I definitely don't look like any dream girl wearing, like, t-shirt and like Lululemon leggings. As comfortable and as much as I love those leggings because they're so comfortable, I find that what else is comfortable is like a wrap dress. So I've been running with that whole wrap dress thing, and now when I look in the mirror, I'm like, dang, yeah, Erica, you're improving. And maybe one day I'll look at, I'll find more instances where I look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, good, Erica, you look good, you feel good, keep improving. So I've been exercising more, I've been watching my diet more, working on my clothes more, working on my nutrition more. And throughout the whole time, I share this kind of stuff because I think a lot of the stuff that's inside of my head, some of the stuff can apply to you guys. Because, like, maybe someone's out there who's dealing with anxiety or insecurity, or maybe you gave up on yourself. And I hope that nobody gives up on themselves. I notice that, like, for certain things, like, I have to treat myself very kindly, and I have to think about it in steps. So if you are just, like, beating yourself up and you don't have, like, a game plan on how you're going to tackle it, then you are setting yourself up for failure. If you want to get out of, like a depression because you feel like you're inadequate or you feel like you're lacking in something, the first thing you have to do is face it head on. Like, if you feel like, for instance, right, if you're beating yourself up because you can't run a mile, then you got to say, well, what's the first thing I got to do? First thing I got to do is put on my running shoes, right? Second thing I got to do is get out of the house. Third thing I have to do is maybe run 1/4 of a mile, or one eighth of a mile. And then once you hit those little milestones, like, okay, I ran 1/8 of a mile, then you can go out for half a mile, then 3/4 of a mile, then 1 mile. And it might not take you, it might take you a couple months to hit that kind of thing, or it might take you a year to hit that. But the most important thing is that you tackle it and you face your fears and your insecurities head on. And you cannot do that unless you start, unless you acknowledge you have a problem and you try to break it down. I know some people will be like, Erica, that takes too long. But here's the thing. If you tell yourself, like, you're such a loser because you can't run a mile or something like that, you're not helping yourself at all. In fact, you're just creating this bigger and bigger problem. And what I've learned is time is ticking, right? I mean, how long have I spent on this video? I've spent 18 minutes on this video. And yeah, I can't believe 18 minutes have passed by. Like, sometimes I look at my stream and my streams are freaking long. But the whole thing is that life goes on faster than you think. Like time goes by very, very fast. And you got to take control of it. And even if you feel like time is slipping by, the most important thing we can do for ourselves is just say, okay, I achieved 1 goal today. I achieved 2 goals today. And then, like I said, you build a habit, you build a routine, you build one thing on top of another, and you have, like, a game plan. Once you have a game plan, then you can kind of see the path. So for mine's, my whole thing was I didn't like my skin because I was breaking out, right? I didn't like my skin. I didn't like my body because I felt like I was flabby. And Lewis told me that too. He says like he thought I was, he didn't find it attractive that I wasn't working out. And yeah, if you think about it, right, you would want to be with the person who is working out. So that was, something. It's like I didn't work out because I had so much insecurity within me. I thought I was like, it's like if I work out, I have to acknowledge that I didn't work out in the past. And I also have to acknowledge that I'm weaker than I am. And so, but I started working out, and then my clothes, right? My clothes, I didn't know, I don't really know like what kind of clothes is good on me. So what I started to do is I started getting all this clothes, right? Thankfully, there was like so many clothes around in New York because people are getting rid of their clothes. So I tried on all this clothes, filtered through it, saw the fit. There was a lot of duds which I gave away, but there were some good ones. And then I ended up tailoring my closet little by little by little, adding some accessories, right? I didn't know what accessories to get, so I looked at it, I researched it, and I said, well, I think having like a white crystal earrings would be nice. Yeah, that looks kind of glamorous. Yeah, and that would work with anything. So then I ran with the white crystal earrings, and now you guys see me in my streams, like, telling you guys, like, hey, if you're a woman and you want to bring a little bit more glam in your life, get white crystal earrings. Now, it doesn't have to be the dangly ones, but it's just like something like eye-catching, and it just looks it makes an outfit look so well put together. So yeah, I build upon things. So that was a clothing thing, and then the teeth thing. I'm working on that. I've been flossing my teeth, which I put off for like about 10 months or so, because I was thinking to myself like, man, I don't want to floss because every time I floss, my gums bleed. But now I'm flossing. Now I got used to it. My gums are perfectly fine. They were bleeding for about 4 days and then they stopped. So I worked at that. And then the teeth whitening thing, I'm brushing my teeth with some like activated charcoal / coconut oil thing. I need to do oil pulling, but I didn't. Yeah, I've been putting that off for 2 days. See, so I have some like stumbling blocks too. I didn't work on that, and I said I was gonna work on that the last 2 days. And what else? I think that's it. Yeah, diet, exercise, hair I've been working at. My eyebrows I've been working at. Makeup, you know what? I don't wear too much makeup, but yeah, the eyebrow thing I've been actively working on. So it's all these like little steps, right? And then the more I focus on it, it's like I get to a certain step and then I can improve on it. So like dental care, right? First I didn't floss, then I started flossing, then I looked at my teeth, and then I said, well, let's try to make sure you're not eating, you're not damaging your enamel, if you guys remember my stream. So then I started thinking like, okay, I can't drink too much acidic stuff, or don't drink too much coffee because that can damage your enamel. Don't drink soda because you got to be mindful with the enamel. And then I thought to myself like, oh, maybe I should try and get my teeth whitened because my teeth will look better. But like after that, like what do I work on? There's not much to work on except maybe getting veneers or something, which I'm not planning to do. But yeah, see, so I focus at it at steps, and I just kind of go higher and higher and higher and higher. And then my whole thinking is at one point, I'm going to look at myself, and I'm already feeling like this way. So it's like I already have this like vision in my head of how I envision myself. And it's like this really put together, classy person that doesn't say all the time. But yeah, that's a work in progress too. But that gives me something to look at. So if I feel like I'm depressed, I notice that the depression doesn't last as long, because it's like, what would I beat myself up about, right? In terms of like looks or working on myself. Okay, Erica, yeah, you're flabby. I'd be like, well, I can't really say I'm too flabby because I've been exercising, and I exercised like 2 days ago. I'm gonna exercise again, so can't really beat myself up on that. Oh, Erica, your hair doesn't look that great. Well, I've been working on my hair. You see, so it's like I have this like voice inside of my head. Not a voice. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm crazy or anything, but it's like, you got this little anxiety thing, or you got this little naysayer inside of your head. And I find that if I work actively on myself, like that voice just goes away. So my depression goes away. And so, yeah, I think having this kind of mindset is really the way to go for a lot of people. And I like I said, I really hope that people do not just idolize other people. I hope that they look within themselves. Like, instead of being envious about another person's quality, let's say another person's hair, Like, think, how can I make my hair better so it's like them? Yeah, I think it's very also short-sighted when some people, they show envy towards another person, they don't do anything. For instance, right? Let's say if you see a beautiful woman, right? And she has amazing hair. Every time you see her, you feel so pissed off because her hair looks so great and your hair looks like terrible. Why don't you have a conversation with her and say, hey, your hair looks really great, how do you, what products do you use? Most likely you'll find that she'll probably be very open to sharing her products, and then she might even tell you, like, oh, this is what I do, or this is the kind of thing that I do. And I like having conversations with women who are like on a higher level than me sometimes, and just like ask them, because if you find out what they're doing, then you might think like, holy crap, that's a huge routine. Damn, it's good that I know that what they're doing. And you find out they have like a whole hair care routine. They spend 45 minutes on their hair every day just to make sure it looks nice. And then from there, instead of being like envious about it or saying like, crap, I wish my hair looked like that, you could look at it and be like, dang, well, they spend 45 minutes on their hair every single day to look that good. You can ask yourself, are you willing to spend 45 minutes on your hair to look that good? Then you kind of say like, okay, that's a byproduct, right? That's the result of them spending time on themselves. So that's why they look good. If you only spend 2 minutes on your hair and they spend 45 minutes and they've been working at their hair for the last 10 years with a similar hairstyle, then of course they're going to be way better than you. It's higher investment. It's more experience styling their hair. So yeah, I think people, when they just kind of sit back and they just be like, I'm so jealous of this chick, or I'm so jealous of this guy because of his muscles. It's like, yeah, don't just be envious. Figure out what their routine is, and that way you can apply it to yourself. And if you still are envious about them, even when you know what they're doing, or you still feel bad about themselves, then you are, in my opinion, like, the reason why you feel negative feelings towards that person is because you yourself are not willing to change your life. What? So, yeah, so that is the whole idea behind my channel banner. I know it's a pretty drawn out explanation, but I wanted to make this video. And I know I'm repeating myself. That's another thing that I need to work on. But I did not want this to just someone to read that banner and think like, oh yeah, she just comes out with some stupid phrase or something like that. There's a genuine meaning about why I say that, and I hope that there's less people out there with depression or anxiety, because again, the only way, in my opinion, to tackle your depression and anxiety, and I say this as a person who spent most of my 20s, almost all my 20s, just having so much depression and anxiety, is you have to get over that fear. You gotta get over like whatever is preventing you, like whatever your insecurity is. If you wake up feeling like you're fat or something, unless you change your ways, you're always gonna feel like if you wake up feeling like you're fat and you don't work out, then don't expect that feeling to change tomorrow or the day after, or like 2 years from now. You can only stop it when you take proactive steps and conquer your fears head on. And yep, so for my channel, I'm going to continue doing what I do. I'm going to continue building upon things, and I have I have a lot of faith and confidence in myself that I'm going to find myself in a better place in a couple months, in a couple years. And I hope that nobody looks at my channel, because I hope my channel's still around in a couple of years. I don't know. Some things with YouTube, I heard it's not valuable, I heard it's not profitable. But if my channel is still around, I envision myself to be in a much better place in terms of how I look and how I feel. And I wouldn't want any person who's looking at my channel, looking inwards, right? Looking out, looking in, and be like, oh, Erica must always, she must have always been at that level or something. No, no, no. Yeah, but I'm just diligently working at it every day. That's all. But yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem like it's far fetched of an idea when you break things up in steps, right? First step, second step, third step, fourth step. So I hope if any of you guys have any issues, anything that's holding you back, any fears, if you guys are, if you guys are not, if you feel like you have a shitty hairstyle, for instance, and you look in the mirror, then go to a stylist, get a better haircut. That's the easiest thing to do, right? It's just like if you feel like your hair is not working with you, it might be because your hair is too long. It might be because your hair needs layers. Seek the help of a professional hairstylist and get your hair cut. I find that having a new hairstyle does wonders for me. Just, or styling it a little differently. Because if my hair is kind of long and it's just like all one length or something, it looks kind of flat. So that's why you guys see me like try to add some volume on the top and then like pinch together the sides a little, that little trio thing. But yeah, hairstyle does wonders. If you feel like if your eyebrows are too bushy, or if you have a unibrow or something, go get your eyebrows waxed. If you're a guy, you can get your eyebrows waxed. I've known guys who got their eyebrows waxed, and you know what? You can't even tell really they got their eyebrows waxed because it's done so cleanly. It doesn't look like it's not like it doesn't make you look like you have like a woman's arch or anything like that. It's done very. It's like Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt gets his eyebrows done, but can you tell? Not really. Like you might think like, man, Brad Pitt is just so good looking or something, but I guarantee you, he gets his eyebrows done for the movies for sure. Or when he's like every celebrity, they have like a skincare routine, or they probably see a facialist or dermatologist or like hairstylist, eyebrow waxer, maybe chest waxer. It's like a whole lot of things. So yeah, it's all about putting in the effort. It's all about tackling your insecurities. And if you feel like your teeth are yellow, for instance, right? What can you do? You can look into getting teeth whitening. If you feel like your teeth are too crooked, what can you do? Go see an orthodontist. Get your teeth straightened. At least you're doing something about it. And you'll find that if your teeth are crooked and you get braces, how the hell are you gonna beat yourself up when you have your braces on? Oh, my teeth are so crooked. Oh, I'm so sad about it. You can't beat yourself up when you got braces on, because then you know that in 2 years or so, or for me it was 3 years, but in 2 years or so, you're going to get the braces off and your teeth will be straight, right? So when you go through that process, like I said, the fear and the anxiety and the depression will lessen because your mind is now shifting. Your mind is no longer thinking like, I'm not doing anything, I'm such a loser, to, hey, I see little results, I'm doing something proactively. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You can either be like you can either be the person who like pulls yourself down, or you could be your best cheerleader. And I find that, yeah, I rather use my mind being my own cheerleader than just beating myself up mentally day in and day out. And I wasted so much years of my life, you guys, in my 20s, just beating myself up mentally, thinking I was, inferior, thinking I was a lost cause, just talking myself down. And I don't want that for any of you. I really don't. I really don't. But I know that there are people who watch my channel who are dealing with depression. And if you guys are taking proactive steps towards, facing your fears head on, then I support you, and if you are, and I know some people are taking steps, and I hear about it, and I'm really proud of them, because it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of courage to talk through that like negative voice in your head that just seems to have developed over, routine. And I feel like the human body or the human mind, it needs to move forward. And if it doesn't move forward, then the mind kind of cannibalizes itself because it has all this energy. Like, I feel like the mind is kind of like, we want to work on something. We want to work on something. And then when there's like some kind of like, oh, yeah, well, kind of feeling like, oh, I can't do it, I'm such a loser, then the mind just kind of thinks like, okay, we're going to work on tearing yourself down. It's like, at least like it's energy being used to just attack oneself, and I guess it's like a boomerang attack or so. I don't know if that's really the thing I would use to describe that, but it's just, yeah, it can be very destructive. And so I hope that you guys focus on yourself. I hope that you all work on yourselves, And instead of conforming to society's ideals or, so and so's ideals or something like that, ask yourself, if how do you envision yourself? What would, if you had to make, how could you become your own dream guy or dream girl? Okay, well, your dream, your dream version of yourself would be what? Fitter. It would have better teeth. It would have better skin. Better styling. You see, kind of think of yourself in a third person. What else? Oh, probably would. Well, for me, it would be doing and a lot less, and things like that. Things like that. And then once you have it all notated down, you can just break it down into little steps and tackle it and check off all your little insecurities. And you might not check out your insecurities completely, but since you're working on it, you'll definitely feel a lot better about yourself. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Yeah, change is difficult, but the human mind is strong. First thing you got to do is just write down, what do you not like about yourself? And you might have a whole laundry list of things, right? I don't like that my skin, I don't like that I have acne. I don't like that I have white hair. I don't like that I have wrinkles. Okay, if you have acne, like I said, go to a dermatologist. Try to clean up your diet. If you're eating a lot of soda, if you're eating a lot of gluten, if you're eating a lot of processed food, that could be your culprit right there. That's what I found out for me. If you're insecure about your white hair, go and dye your hair. Right? Go to a hairstylist or do it yourself. Get a box of hair dye and color your hair. Boom, white hair's gone. Everybody gets white hairs. I have white hairs. I have less white hairs now than I did before. It's strange. Like, I noticed that as I up my nutrition, like, more and more my white hairs just reverse. So I guess I had a vitamin deficiency along the way, but I don't know what it was exactly. So I would be 40 years younger. You know what? Like, you can't change time. I wish I was 10 years younger. Like, I wish I could take back my 20s and use the knowledge that I gained in my head now to have 10 years. I wish I had a time machine. I would also tell myself to buy Bitcoin 10 years ago. But besides that, like, yeah, if you can't change time, so, like, why would you want to be 40 years younger, right? Is it because like you have wrinkles now? Is it because of this or that? Really like figure out what your base is, and then figure out, like, what can you do better from there, right? Like, if your base is, oh, I have some wrinkles. Okay, well, get some anti-wrinkle cream or something, or go seek the help of a dermatologist, and then tell them, like, hey, I really don't like the creases on my forehead. What can you recommend? Can you recommend topicals for me, like a Retin-A or something like that, or a laser treatment or something? Like, there's always solutions for that. I did learn, I did learn things in my 20s, but unfortunately I had so much depression and anxiety in my 20s. I didn't feel like I don't feel like I did as much as I could, like nearly as much as I could, because it's just like, I would be so sad. I mean, just like feeling so depressed, and I would be beating myself up, and I was just thinking like I was inferior. And like, my mind was very strong at beating myself up. It really was. But I think, like, I think to myself, like, man, Erica, if you took, like, the first step on certain things, and you found, like, a supportive base, or you became your own supportive cheerleader, then you could have radically changed things. You could have used that time. And it's kind of like wishing, like, you invested in the stock market earlier, right? Like, oh, what if I invested in 2012 versus, like, in 2017? It's like I could have built upon things earlier, but I can't change time. I can't take back the 10 years. All I can do is start from this as a base, or, moving up from a base, and then share these things with you guys, in hopes that if people are going through kind of like a similar thing, and I'm sure there is, like, depression and anxiety and having low self-worth is not an uncommon thing for people, but I hope that if you guys, have that, you don't have it continue as long as it did for me. Or if you do, I hope that it can kind of nudge you into just breaking that bad habit. Like, it's depressing to think about how much time I lost. because of like depression and anxiety. But I try not to look back. I try to look forward. Oh, yo, Suki, look at the Suki's is like a couple years younger than me. Ah, you know what? I think the personality thing, I think it's innate. It's not like it's a learned thing, but when I was when I had like a lot of depression and anxiety, I definitely wasn't like this. I don't know. I heard I was pretty intimidating in my 20s. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know, because it's like I can't see myself. I can't see myself in the third person, but I do know that yeah, some people said that they thought I was intimidating. When I was studying, like when I was in my 20s and when I was in college, man, I was super competitive. It's like I put my all into my studies, and it's like I just thought about like getting like the top marks, getting A's. It's like I just wanted to slaughter kind of thing. And then after I got out of college, it's like you have your free for all, right? Because it's like no longer are you stuck on a routine, right? You know, when you're in college, your teacher tells you exactly what to do, like, okay, make sure. And I guess this is how I kind of think of myself now. Like when you're in college or when you're in high school or when you're in grade school, you know how your teacher says, like, okay, for today, you're supposed to read like chapter one, and then 2 weeks from now you have a project, and then things like that. You know how they break it up in steps so it doesn't feel like it's overwhelming, like do little by little by little. And at the end of it, right, you have all this knowledge or mostly forgotten knowledge, and you feel like you learned something from that. But the reason why you learned something is you broke it down into manageable steps, or your teacher did, right? It's kind of like the hand holding thing. You get things explained to you, you show up to class, you do the work, and you gain knowledge at the end of it. After we get out of outside of school, I feel like a lot of people don't do that for themselves. Maybe it's hard for me. Maybe it's hard for some people to have like a routine. I'm not talking about job thing. I'm talking about for themselves, like a skincare routine, an exercise routine, a wellness routine. Meditate, do some yoga, walk around. Do a little walk around the block, 10 minutes a day. Yeah, it's like people don't. I find that people don't prioritize themselves enough, and then when they don't prioritize themselves and they start having weight gain, or they start realizing when they start having weight gain, or if their clothes don't fit anymore because they're old or they're stretched out. And I'm not saying that if you're fat it causes your clothes to stretch out. Like I have clothes that stretch out, and it's just because I put them in the wash a bunch of times, they lose their shape. But don't when people don't care about themselves, they look at themselves and maybe they just give up. They're like, oh man, I'm too this or I'm too that. Yeah, I don't want to think about myself. But really, people need to prioritize themselves. Like I think it's very depressing and sad if people just focus on all other things and then they don't focus on their own mental health and wellness and their own goals in life. I'm not talking about career goals. I'm talking about life goals. Like, what kind of person do you envision yourself to be? What kind of person do you want to be? How do you see yourself like looking or carrying yourself in the future? Those are very, very important questions. And I believe also that when people close their eyes and they think about like the best version of themselves that's realistic. And when I say realistic, it's like people cannot maintain like a six-pack, right? 365 days of the year, but you can get fit, right? You can get much fitter. So if people have this kind of idea of themselves, it's like that could be like, okay, well, I want to have like closer to a six-pack, or I want a four-pack. Yeah, then you can work on getting a four-pack. And then once you get a four-pack, right, then you could think about, oh, maybe I want to get a six-pack. But yeah, first of all, you got to think about slimming down your tummy, maybe ending up with a two-pack, then a four-pack, then maybe you get a six-pack, but just break it up in little steps. Yeah, that's a good one, Serena. I see life as a chapter. My old chowder banner was like a Cookie Monster. So I had Cookie Monster eating a bunch of cookies. That was my old channel banner. Yeah, it seems like nobody knows this my channel banner. Good thing I made a video on this. Good thing I made a video on this. Okay, so Anya said I don't really want to be 20 again, but I wouldn't mind the back pain. Your other age-related ailments be gone. Yeah, I know some people who have like really bad, they have really bad pain. One person I know, they were on morphine a lot because they had super bad pain, and yeah, that definitely affected their quality of life for sure. But they made the best of it. I didn't know them too well. It's like they were the dad of one of my friends. No, 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 no. I still love Cookie Monster. I eat cookies actually. I eat cookies quite often. I mean, I eat not quite often. I eat cookies like 3 times a week. I eat a cookie like 3 or 4 times a week. One cookie, or one tiny cookie. Lewis can attest to this. But yeah, and they're not gluten-free cookies. They should be gluten-free cookies. I gotta go find some gluten-free cookies. They're just harder to find than regular cookies. So anyway, I need to get going and fold the laundry because they have been sitting there for 2 days. And embarrassing to mention it like this, but yesterday I didn't feel like doing it because I had a headache. No, the day that I pulled out the laundry, I was supposed to fold the laundry, but I was so tired, so I didn't do it. Yesterday I didn't do it because I had a headache. And today, well, I really have no excuse today. So I'm going to get going on it because it's 8 p.m. right now. And next thing I know, it's going to be 8:30 p.m. or 9 p.m. So I will talk to you guys later. My favorite cookie is a chocolate chip cookie. I cannot say no to a chocolate chip cookie. I can't say no to a lot of cookies, but I also like molasses cookies. Molasses cookies are good. Chocolate chip cookies are good. Those are probably my 2 favorites off the top of my head. But I've never tried a cookie that I did not like. Actually, no, I have tried some pretty bad cookies, but like in terms of like snickerdoodle, I like snickerdoodles, but chocolate chip seems to take the cake for me. But I'm a big fan of molasses cookies as well. Trader Joe's molasses cookie, a lot of sugar, but it is a very tasty cookie. Oh, oatmeal raisin's a very good cookie too. Okay, I should not go on the whole cookie train because then I'm gonna be thinking, oh, you know what else I like? I like chocolate chip cookies with brown butter. That's really good cookie too. I like sea salt on my chocolate chip cookies. If you guys make your own chocolate chip cookies, sprinkle a little coarse sea salt on top. Oh my goodness. Like even the Toll House ones, if you sprinkle a little coarse sea salt on it before you bake it or while it's reheating, it tastes like a $4 cookie. Like it goes from like a tasty cookie to a more refined cookie, and then you feel more classy. So who knows? Maybe if I like change myself and I'm like, I'm the very classy woman. I only like to eat sea salt on my chocolate chip cookies. You know where it came from. No. But seriously, sea salt on chocolate chip cookies as like very like, I want to say high maca as that sounds like. No, I'm gonna say as very like bougie or hipsterish that sounds like. It actually is a really good combo. Seriously, it really is. Like you put that on a cheap cookie, it makes it taste more expensive. So that's value for your money. Okay, if you guys have a Toll House cookie that you're baking or your regular chocolate chip cookies, get a sprinkle of coarse sea salt, sprinkle in about 3 cookies, and then you'll taste it and you'll be like, wow, this tastes good. This tastes like it's more expensive. It tastes more elevated. Yeah. Okay, you guys. I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to be thinking about cookies. Hell, I'm going to probably reheat a cookie. Dang it. All these freaking cookies. And actually, you know what? I'll probably go take some cupcakes out of my freezer. You know those mini cupcakes? Like I have a bunch in the freezer. Yeah, I might thaw those out and eat a couple of them. Okay. See ya.